All right, so let's discuss the typecasting today.
Okay.
So let me make one more CAS. Okay, let me write a few things, and by example itself we'll try to understand what it is. Okay,
Okay.
so let's say I write, consider it in small case, double d equal to, let's say, 5.5. One second, 5.5. Okay, and do you understand the meaning of this line? If I write int I equal to d,
Yes. So I will be initialized with the value of d of 5.5.
right? So what's going on over here? That let's say we have a double value d, I would say d, which have 5.5, right? And we have another int I here. So this, whatever we have inside this container, this would get allocated to this value, right?
Right.
So
But
this is
how is that possible?
yeah, that is where I'm coming to, that how it is possible, right?
Okay. Yes.
So when I'll explain you the step by step so that you can understand those things thoroughly. You are right that this is not possible, and it should give us some error,
Right.
compile time error. So that's why we would like to see it, whether or not we receive an error. So definitely we get an error. Okay. Now, before moving on, I would like to discuss few things about the type, in terms of typecasting itself, or whatever we know up till now, whatever we learned. I will draw one diagram and then we will move on. See, we know these things. This is the smallest bucket byte, right? This is little bit bigger bucket short,
Short.
right? Then comes
Yes.
the, what data types comes here,
Int.
right? I'm only writing I. Okay. Then comes the
Long.
long, and they all belongs to the same family, right? And we say it
Integer.
integer family,
Yes.
right? Now what we have done over here, if I will come back one more time here. If I hover over my cursor here, you will see that type mismatch cannot convert from double to int, and that is perfectly fine. We cannot convert the double to the int value, right? Because double is a different data type, and neither it belongs to the int family or anything else. Then how could we convert it into the integer data type? Now, as far as typecasting is concerned, let me draw their respective by bit as well. It contains the, one second, it contains 8 bit, short content 16 bit, I'm saying bit, okay. Integer content 32 bits, and after that, when we discuss about the typecasting, float and double comes. I can write here float and double. I write float for F and double for D over here. Okay, so it works in this way. One thing, type, what is a meaning of typecasting now? We will discuss the meaning of typecasting now. So typecasting is something like we want to cast one of our data type to the other data type. We want to cast our one of the data type to other data type. But we need to keep in mind that they must have some relationship. Say for an example, these all are numbers only, right? If I talk about the integer family or float family, 1 second. Either I talk about the integer or float, they all belongs to number, right? They are some numbers, correct? And they
Yes.
must have some relationship. And if I see the left hand side, the integer family, they are I mean the absolute number, natural numbers, something like those, byte, short, int, and long. While the right hand side, whatever the diagram I have, floating point number, they are still correct, they are numbers, but they are floating point number or decimal values and other things we have with respect to the their definition. So typecasting says it is possible to convert one data type to other data type, that is absolutely fine, but they must have some relationship with them, that they must be tightly binding with each other. Say for an example, if I say that just a hypothetical example, we can see a cat and dog, both are entirely independent entities or different entities. I cannot convert cat into dog or dog into cat, right? Because they don't uh, belongs to the similar categories. Or in other words, if I take a fish or dog, they have no relationship with each other. So that's why I cannot convert those particular things. So if there is no relation between or no combination between any data type, then we cannot convert them. So typecasting, first thing we need to understand that yes, there is a possibility of typecasting in Java, but it must have the possible conversion is I mean the conversion is possible from the related entities only. So far so good, or any problem? I'll come to the one by one example after that.
No, I understand. So for us to convert from one data type to another data type, there has to be some relation. We cannot do from,
Your
let's say,
voice is
integer to.
too low, Hussein. Today your pace
Hello.
is low.
Hello,
Yeah, now it's far better. Yeah,
can you hear me?
yeah, now it's absolutely fine. uh,
Oh, no, I was saying that there has to be some relationship between the data type. So, in example, we cannot do from integer to string. We have to do like in the numbers family.
right. You got the crux correctly. Now I come to the typecasting. How much type of casting is possible in Java? There are two type of casting is possible in Java. First one is explicit typecasting, and second one is implicit typecasting. Okay, so let me do some other things here and then I'll explain. Say for an example, now what is this? I'll explain in a minute. Let's say I write long LG equal to 1, 2, 3. What does it mean? See, normally what we say, whatever the number we write, if we do not, I mean, define anything, then that belong to integer, right?
Right.
Correct. So whenever we talk about this family only, and we go from the smaller bowl to the bigger bowl, or smaller container to the bigger container, integer is smaller container while long is the bigger container. Whenever we move towards this direction, it would lead us to the implicit typecasting. We don't need to explicitly typecast anything. So here, meaning to say 1, 2, 3 was integer, but from integer to int, sorry, integer to long, it was by default casted for us. We did not do any casting over here. Do you follow me what I try to say over here?
Yeah. Yes.
Whenever Yeah, right. Whenever we go from smaller container to bigger container, we don't have to explicitly cast anything. The Java would be internally, it will do it for me. Why can it internally do it for me? Just a simple analogy. You have 1 liter bowl, right?
Right.
Let's say it's int, and here you have 5 liter bowl or container, and this is long. There is always possibility to put all the stuff whatever we have in 1 liter bowl into the 5 liter bowl or 5 liter container. There is no problem, there shouldn't be any problem by doing this, right? So
Right.
that's why Java does not stop us to do so, and whatever it takes internally, Java takes care of it, or in other words, we say Java virtual machine takes care of those things. So that is why we say implicit typecasting. Implicit typecasting means whenever we go from the smaller entity to bigger entity, there shouldn't be any problem. So say for an example, let me take a lot of example here. Let's say byte b equal to 20. Now I want to fill this byte value into the, let's say, short s. Now what happens? So what it has does, it did not complain anything to us. So what it is called? Implicit typecasting. Why implicit? We are going from smaller to bigger container, correct?
Correct.
There shouldn't be any problem. Say for an example, I write int here, and now I place s value int s value here. So here also it did not create any problem. Why? Because again the container become very bigger than short. So it's like
Right.
this: byte, then short, then this integer. So this ii, this short. So what we are doing, we are copying this 20 value from here to here and here to here. All have 20 value without any problem. Why without any problem? Because Java supports it. Whenever you fill in smaller value into the bigger container, there shouldn't be any problem without any issue. Now come to the other way around. Now let's say, let me comment this out for now. Or you can understand, okay, double on those things, I'll come later on. Let's say I write int x equal to 20. Now I write like byte b equal to x. Now it has started complaining, right? Why
Yes.
it has started complaining? Now we are coming to the reverse direction.
Yeah, from big
The
to small.
Yeah, big to small, so that is creating problem. Now what Java says, hey, you are going from the whatever value you contain in a bigger container to the smaller container. Are you really want to do this? If yes, it is all your risk on your own thread. You can do it, but you have to explicitly cast it, or just like a contract that you are ready for the consequences. So those consequences or those contract is done by explicit casting. What I'll say, buddy, this integer value is I want to cast it to the byte. I don't want to make it integer, and the problem disappears from here. Did you see it?
Yes.
Right, so that is called explicit typecasting. Java compulsory saying us you have to typecast it, otherwise I will not do it. Why Java is saying me to do this? Because there is a chance, let's say I have an integer container, all right, and in integer container there might be a chance I have a value that I cannot fill in into the byte container, right? See, we all know that byte have up till 127 only value, correct? It cannot
Correct.
fill more than 127. What if I put 128 in integer? Let's say I have int I equal to 128. Then I cannot fill this 128 value which belongs to integer into the byte, because it accommodate only till 127 only. What would happen about the remaining bit? So there is a risk to doing it. We might lose a value whatever we have. That is why Java says that it's up to the developer's choice. You want to, as they have the relationship, you want to downgrade yourself or you want to cast to the other data type, that is your risk. You have to sign a contract for that. You have to explicitly cast it. I'm not going to do it for you. So this contract we have binded. Okay, we are saying to the Java virtual machine, I know about my code. I know that I'm not putting up far more value, and I would be ready to pay the consequences, the whatever the casting I'm doing. So those type of casting, whenever we come from the bigger value to the smaller value, then it says the explicit typecasting, when developer has to explicitly typecast those particular things. Did you get the point what I tried to say?
Yes. So if we're coming from bigger to small, we have to manually tell Java or tell JVM that, hey, even though there's risk, we're still going to do it, and we have to mention the data type along with it.
That's right. That's perfectly correct understanding. So this is with respect to the primitive data type. I mean, our understanding with respect to the primitive data type with respect to the typecasting. So typecasting works in this way. If I draw a diagram for typecasting, I would like to draw one more diagram which includes the integer family as well the double family, or sorry, the floating point family. So first, so first byte, then short, then int, then long, then float, then double. In Java, this is considered, left to right is considered, we can implicitly typecast. Okay, this is called implicit typecasting. This, we are moving towards this direction. This is bigger. This is called implicit. Okay, this is short. Sorry, this is byte. This is short. This is int. This is long. This is float, and this is double. That's how it works. And this the bits are clear. This is 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, and 64-bit, 32-bit, and 64-bit. Somehow this work in this way. All right, so whenever, let's say I want to go from integer to double, then also it is possible without any problems. Let's say now I'm jumping to the different data type or different family type. So I'm just writing a reverse of these lines, whatever I write here. So I write like int I equal to 5, and then I write double d equal to I. However, they don't belong to the same family, but they fall
No.
into the number itself. But we are going
Right.
from the smaller to the bigger container, then there is no problem. We don't
Okay.
have to do it. And also one more thing, wherever the implicit typecasting is possible, you can do it explicit also, but that is not mandatory. We don't need to do it. If I write something like this, then also there is no complaint. It will work without any issue. But that there is no need to do it. As simple as that. This particular thing would be free of cost done by Java or JVM for you. But if you go other way around, like in this above example, then you have to do it by your own. Say for an example, I uncomment this part one more time. Now I'm coming from the double to int. So I'll have to tell it this is int, not double. Did you get the point I want to convey with respect to the typecasting to you?
Yes, yes.
All right. Now let's do one tricky thing. Then let me see what is your response. Mhm. Okay. I have a DOU double result. I'm just taking one example. Okay. I have double as a result. Let me comment out the other part. And I take result. It would be revision for whatever you learned earlier as well. If I write 5050 divide by 100, then I do sys out result. What should be an output according to you?
Okay. So we're declaring a variable called result that falls it from double, and then we're going to result variable is being divided by 50 50 by 100. 50
Hmm.
50 by 100 is going to be, I would say 1.
1. If I divide 5050 by 100, let me open a calculator for you if there is any problem. Right, 5050 and divide by 100. What is an output?
50.5.
Okay, and we have the double data type over here. Now
All right.
let me run this and see what happens. Boom, it gives us 50. Why not 50.5? Right? However, expected output should be 50.5 to us.
I was
Now what
looking,
happened?
I was
Yeah.
thinking of the remainder. That's why I think I said 1.
Okay, you were thinking, no, I did not say about the modulus operation, and even, okay, that's why you said 1. Okay, then it should be 50, not 1,
No, okay.
right? Because 50-50, at last the 50 would remain. So 50 should be remainder in modulus operation.
All right.
So now think through it, what has happened for it? What
O-
happens behind the scene? Okay, if you want to think, then let me know.
So when we did the division, we saw 50.5, but the result is 50 because the int cannot take 0.5, right?
Correct. See what happens behind the scene. We write only 50-50 and 100. So by default, what should be their data type?
Integer.
Absolutely int. Correct.
Yeah. Yes.
What happens behind the scene then? Int divide by int.
Int
So what gonna happen? Int divide by int. The result
is going
should
to
always comes
is
into the
be,
integer only, right?
yes.
So
Yes.
what has happened? It should give us 50, not
50.
decimal point, as an output. What happened after that? There is a provision of implicit typecasting. I'm writing everything. Why implicit typecasting? We would like to assign our int value to double, like this, line number 20. Here we have write explicitly, but I said no need to write this as well. So what gonna happen that implicitly what Java will do? It will convert int into the double,
Double.
into double. So it will append extra 0 with it, 50.0. Did you get the point? So 50 got converted to the 50.0.
Right.
This is all happened behind the scene. If those things are clear to you, then you are moving towards the right direction with respect to the understanding this little bit complex thing.
Okay.
Any doubt?
So
Yeah.
okay, we're going to review again. So we declare as a result, right? And the result is divided by 50 by 50 by 100, and the actual result that we get is 50.5, right? So we should see 50.5, but we cannot see 50.5 because behind the scene we're dividing int by int, and when you divide int by int, the result is going to be int. It
Int.
cannot be a double or float value, right? So the
Right.
result, therefore the result is 50, right? So the 0.5, what can we say about that? The missing 0.5.
So 0.5 will not come because integer will give us the integer value only. It will discard it. It will
Discard it.
discard point, right?
Okay.
So what has happened? Its output, this one output has come 50 for us. Now typecasting will come into the picture. What Java will see or JVM will see that okay, you want to typecast it to the double, then I have to convert this int data type to double for you implicitly, free of cost, because you want it from me. So what it does, it will do it for us and convert this particular thing into the double
Double
for us,
format. Yes. So instead
right?
of showing us only 50, right? Because if it was only int divided by int, it would have been 50. But since we're declaring it as a double, JVM internally added that 0.0 for us.
Yes, correct. Or
Oh,
in other words, if what if I write something like this? Then see 50.5. See, it was
yeah.
by default int. I say it, no, no, you are not int, you are double. And I declare it straight away double, right?
Right.
It is 100 by default int. I say, no, no, you are double. So I declare it by default double because I know my result would be converted into the double. So now what's going on? It will give us 50.5 as a double, and double can be assigned to double without any issue. Now third time casting will not happen. Here we have done 2 time explicit casting over here.
Okay.
Right? Did you get the point what I try to say here?
Yeah. So instead of JVM doing it, we explicitly mentioned it already.
Yeah, because we want the correct answer. So that's why
Yes.
we say okay, whatever we are providing, it is a double only. So that's why it is doing for us. I mean, the concept should be clear to you. What's going on? What is casting? When the casting is applied? Where is the good time to apply a casting? What is implicit casting? What is explicit casting? Those things, the small things need to be cleared.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm understanding, but for me to remember all
You have
this, it's
you
not going to
really have
happen
to
overnight. I have to watch the video again and take some notes. Then this way I remember it.
That's the original way to learn anything. You watch a video or understand with me once, then you have to practice it 10 times. It's just like a language. When the kids are trying to understand or learn a language from us, 1 year or 2 year old kids, our own kids, they take time, they listen to us again and again, and then they started learning. So same formula is applicable for
All
the
right.
programming languages as well. The more time you will spend on and an individual, make a practice that you create a 5 or 10 program of every concept by your own and apply your own mind, and then uh, try to say output before you see the output on the IDE. Write something and just that okay, the output should be this, then run the program and then evaluate yourself, where are you? And in that way, that is the best way. I mean, after 50-60 hours there might be a chance you will understand everything, but you do not know most of the things because those are out of your head if you will not spend time with these.
Exactly.
So double time you have to spend if you really want to do something quickly with respect to these things, right?
Right.
Okay. Otherwise, whenever you practice and again you have some problem, you can come to me anytime. We can rediscuss those things one more time, but do practice and do watch out these videos. You can
Yes.
do a Google as well around these concepts for more understanding and other things, right?
Right.
Now let's discuss the other thing. Otherwise, typecasting has lot other concept as well, but that will come when we will defining our own classes, user defined data type classes. These are primitive data type classes, inbuilt classes for us, sorry, inbuilt data type for us. So on that particular time, at the time of object oriented concept, I will bring typecasting one more time. There also you have to be careful for typecasting.
Okay.
Okay, let's discuss the other concept. That is it for now for the typecasting. I think enough for the typecasting for now. Okay, let's discuss. Okay, let's discuss something theoretical for 5 minutes. Then we will come back to the. I will introduce some theories as well in between, so we can make balance. Do
Okay.
you understand the different Java editions? Because I left a lot of things initially with respect to the theory, because I don't want to, I don't dislike to teach theories, boring theory. Uh, Java edition.
Yeah, there I'm not expert of course, but there is of course developer edition, mostly used for I guess developers, and then
Mm-hmm,
there is like the what is it, J2EE edition,
mm-hmm.
that is I guess primarily for the core Java.
Okay,
And
right. You are at the correct part.
I don't know much, brother.
Okay, I can write quickly. Three are there in Java. We
Okay.
say it earlier. We say it J2SE. All right. Nowadays J2, whatever the two we write is out of fashion, or nobody say it, because earlier Java used to append two as well with it. Nowadays we say Java SE. There are typically three versions in Java. First one is Java SE. Second one is J2EE. This is Java Enterprise Edition. Only EE we write. And third one is J2ME, or we say it Java Micro Edition. So J2SE is used for, you can think of core Java or for any standalone application. So you are learning right now J2SE, or forget the two, Java Standard Edition. Standard Edition right now you are learning, where
Okay.
core Java comes under the Standard Edition itself. So this is the basic building blocks of the Java. No matter if you use EE, EE stand for Enterprise Edition. Enterprise Edition means if we want to make a internet based application or distributed application, or I can say e-commerce type of application. So all these are for the enterprise grade application. So enterprise grade application, again the Java Standard Edition would always required for this also, and even for Java Micro Edition also. But they have their own different library than this is basic or core part, and then they have their own part. So this is for the enterprise edition, and micro edition is for the mobile application. So whatever the Android based or iOS based application we write, that comes into the this category. Okay, these are three basic editions, I mean one must know about.